welcome to the Armory. I'm Nathan. So today I want to do a little video, and it might be a little ranty, sorry about that, but I'm very passionate about this subject. I'm going to call it ridiculous laws they're trying to get implemented. Alright, so the first ridiculous law that they're trying to push through is they want to do it where CHL holders have to go out and have a justifiable reason to have a CHL. And they don't really say what that justifiable reason is. It just seems like they want to just limit the number of CHL holders in this country. Okay, let me give you a little background history. In '87, 25 years ago, the crime was so bad in Florida that they introduced CHLs. The crime rate dropped so dramatically in Florida that a couple more states introduced CHLs. And then their crime rates reduced so much that more states introduced CHLs. And now we have 49 states with some type of licensing for civilians to carry firearms. We went from 1 state to 49 states. We went from 0 CHL holders to now we have 8 million permit holders in this country. The death rate in this country, the murder rate, since this all started, has dropped by more than 50%. So, more armed, good people have dropped the murder rate from about 10 people per every 100,000 to about 4.8 people for every 100,000. The CHL program and open carry and concealed carry programs in the United States are the most incredible, resounding, anti-criminal success ever in the history of man. Never before have I ever seen anywhere in the history of man where criminals have been so limited by a movement like this. This movement has cut the murders in our country in half. More good people with firearms are keeping you safer every day, and to even suggest anything to limit that and not increase those numbers is ridiculous to me. That shows you how ridiculous it is for the people up in Congress, our representatives. They're looking at something that is so successful and just trying to kill it anyway because they don't like it. They're not looking at results. They're looking at their own bias and their own lack of common sense, in my opinion. Again, they don't like guns. They want to do away with all guns. They're going to go attack everything gun related. Okay, they don't care if it's successful or not. They don't care if it protects people. They don't care if it saves a life. In fact, that's the most ridiculous part. They go in and they say, if this thing we suggest saves one life, it's worth doing. Well, guess what? It's proven that CHL carriers save more than 10,000 lives every year in this country, because that's how many less people die than did 25 years ago. It's about 10,000 less. So again, who cares about one life? I want to save 10,000 lives. You know, I want to cut murder rates in half, and we've done that. So again, anti-CHL stuff ticks me off. Been a concealed carry holder for over a decade. All right, so next subject. They want to have it where the Attorney General gets to make lists of people he thinks are terrorists, and he doesn't allow them to buy assault weapons, and he doesn't allow them to buy explosives. Well, let's take the first one. The Attorney General gets to make up random lists of people he thinks are terrorists? Well, where did that come from? Good Lord, what type of country do we live in where the guy who's the Attorney General of the United States gets to randomly pick out and make up terrorists at will? I mean, how draconian is that measure? I mean, if he wants to actually send out his, DEA, ATF, FBI to go find people who are terrorists, more power to him. Go find some terrorists. I want you to go do that. But you don't get to just arbitrarily make up lists of people you define as terrorists. What are you going to do? Well, I think everyone who's a member of the Tea Party is a terrorist. I think everyone who's a member of the Republican Party is a terrorist. Anyone who's a libertarian is a terrorist. Anyone who's a Democrat but lives in this state classifies as a terrorist. Don't sell any of them assault weapons. Again, it's so offensive. It's amazing they're even suggesting it. Again, what happened to due process? What happened to a right of trial by jury? Innocent until proven guilty. Where did all these things in our country go? I mean, do they just want to take the Constitution and stick it in a shredder? Because that's what that law suggests. Okay, let's go to the second part, explosives. Okay, how many times do terrorists get a hold of legally created explosives in this country? Guess what? If you want to buy an explosive in this country, you've already been so checked out by the ATF, because you have to have a license to buy explosives. The ATF has to go and background check you. The ATF has to go and actually come into your place of business and check it out to make sure you're a legitimate buyer and have a legitimate need. I mean, people don't realize, you know, the ATF, before you can buy a stick of dynamite in this country, does everything but give you a proctology exam. The fact that Eric Holder needs to step in and say, well, this guy can't buy a stick of dynamite, is retarded. It's already so overly regulated to begin with. It's ridiculous and redundant to suggest it needs the Attorney General's attention to look at explosives. Now, let's talk about terrorists and explosives. The last guy to use an explosive as a terrorist was old Tim McVeigh, to my knowledge, and he went and blew up a building in Oklahoma City and killed a lot of people. And guess what he used to blow up that building? He used a giant pile of crap. He used fertilizer. Fertilizer is a nitrogen-based thing you stick on your lawn or on crops to make them grow, and it's made out of crap. It's a giant pile of crap made out of, you know, it's fertilizer. It's the Scott's Turf Builder. He bought a whole bunch of that, different brand of it. He bought an agricultural type. But anyway, he bought a giant pile of crap, i.e. fertilizer, and blew up a building with it. The ATF doesn't regulate that. Maybe they do now. I don't know. But anyway, it's ridiculous. Terrorists don't go and buy legal explosives. And getting to make a list and say you can't buy an assault weapon because you're on my list is not the Attorney General's job and bypasses so many parts of our Constitution. I can't even, as an Attorney General, he should just come out and say, I'm the Attorney General and I know about law and you can't tell me I have that power, because that's ridiculous. That goes against the Constitution. It'll be thrown out so fast by the courts that it's not even silly. Okay, next topic. Online ammunition sales. Okay, so online ammunition sales came up because the guy in Aurora, Colorado bought 6,000 rounds of ammunition. He then took all 6,000 rounds with a forklift and dropped them on everyone in that theater. Oh wait, no, that's not what he did. He went and took as much ammunition as he could carry and went and shot the people up in the theater. Guess what? The vast majority of his ammunition, probably like 99% of it, stayed back at his apartment, because you can't carry 6,000 rounds of ammunition as a human being. You can't use 6,000 rounds of ammunition. The only way to use 6,000 rounds of ammunition is if you're a person like me and go shooting all the time, and it takes me a year to 2 years to go through that much ammunition. Again, I reload, so it takes a lot longer because I have to build a couple. I use a couple of thousand rounds a year, typically, because I'm an avid shooter, but there's not that many of me out there. Again, it's ridiculous. If you're a mass shooter, you're going to go down to Walmart and you're going to go down to the sporting goods store or the local firearms store. You're going to buy 5-10 boxes of rounds and be loaded up for bear and go do your mass shooting. I mean, the bulk ammunition buyers typically are the people just trying to save money who are avid shooters. They're trying to basically outlaw people from saving money and limit us from our sport of going out and shooting for sport. I mean, again, it's ridiculous. Will it save one life? Will keeping someone from buying 1,000 rounds of ammunition online save one life when they could go down and buy 1,000 rounds at the local store? It won't. So by their own definition of will it save a life, it won't. It's not necessary. They shouldn't do it. All right, next one. 7-round magazines in New York. So this is not a real Glock, but if it were, this would be a Glock that would take a 15-round magazine. So in New York, they have 1 year to get rid of all their greater than 7-round capacity magazines and get new 7-round mags for all their weapons, which pretty much the vast majority of guns outside of the 1911s and the small concealed carry compacts all carry larger magazines than 7 rounds. When they had the original firearms ban from 94 to 2004, 10 rounds was the limit, and the manufacturers produced 10-round mags. So the reason that the New York legislature picked a magazine class less than 10 rounds was a simple reason: they're a-holes. They're massive, massive a-holes. All of you in New York who support the 7-round magazine limit, you're a-holes too. And I know this probably can piss off a lot of New Yorkers, but I don't care. You're a-holes. If you'd gone with the 10 rounds, I would have had a little more forgiveness for you, because the 10 rounders already are easy to get and are out there. you're going to have to force all the guys in New York to have the manufacturers go out and build new 7-round mags for their double-stack pistols. All right, so let's go with the second thing, if it'll save just one life. So what you're going to have is you're going to have some guy in New York who now has, instead of 15 rounds in his handgun, he's got 7. He's going to get shot at by a criminal there in New York. Guess what? You got a lot of them, all right? Those criminals are going to shoot at some innocent guy. He's going to fire off all 7 of his rounds, and then he's going to get killed because he ran out of bullets. Okay, the bad guy who kept his standard 15-round mag has twice as many, has that guy outgunned. Okay, now one other question is, why would you need more than 7 rounds? And I'm going to tell you exactly why you need more than 7 rounds. And that is because in every concealed carry course I have taken where I go to the shooting range and shoot, I shoot a perfect score. I am usually one of the 10% of guys who shoot a perfect score. The other 90% are not the most horrible shots, but usually they're pretty crappy. They can pass the test, but they're not good shots. I've asked people, I've said, when's the last time you shot? Oh, about 2 years ago. Okay, a lot of people simply don't practice their marksmanship. And what that means is that they need more bullets in their guns, okay? What I can do with 7 will take the average person 15 bullets to accomplish, okay? They're going to miss a lot more than I am. I can put 7 rounds on target every time at close range. They are going to be throwing some wild. They're not cops. They don't have to pass shooting tests except once every 4 years in my state. So they need more rounds for their protection because they're going to miss a lot more. Here's the rule. When you are in a gunfight, you're going to shoot really bad because you're going to be scared to death with your adrenaline pumping, and you will shoot the worst you ever shoot at the range. And if you do not practice on a continual basis at the range and develop your muscle memory, you're going to shoot badly. So those people in New York, they need their 15-round mags for their own personal safety. The bad guys aren't going to give up 15-round mags. They're going to carry 7. They're going to carry the 15 rounds, not the 7-round mags. So again, it's going to kill people in New York who are going to run out of ammunition in gunfights. Good, honest pillars of your society in New York are going to die because you took their magazine capacity away. You just killed some people. Congratulations. You just made the criminals in your state that much more successful in their murderous deeds. Congratulations, New York. I hope you choke on a Somali or whatever the hell you eat up there. All right, so again, 7-round magazine ban, really a-hole thing to do, New York legislature, really a-hole thing to do. I mean, if you wanted a magazine ban, you should have gone with 10 because it's been done before and they're out there. Would have been a lot nicer to your constituents. Again, you're being a bunch of a-holes. Why didn't you make it a 2-round magazine or something even more ridiculous that you were going for? Why didn't you go all the way? Anyway, so again, ridiculous laws being suggested that are going to do nothing more than do nothing at all, but the vast majority of them that are being suggested are going to kill good, wholesome Americans who only want to defend themselves from criminals. Again, if you want to do something good to protect people, go and find places where they have done things that have been successful. I'm going to give you the perfect example. Go to Israel. You want to protect kids? Go see what they do in Israel. They got lots of bad guys who want to jihad them, and they got some of their security procedures down. Copy Israel if you want to make us a safe society. Otherwise, you're just going to have to look at things that work, like CHL programs work, having regular magazine capacities work. Limiting legal magazine capacity for good people isn't helpful at all to cut down on crime. Only kills good people. Having Eric Holder, the Attorney General, be able to deem anyone he wants to be a terrorist and cut their liberties, I mean, please, is that going to save any lives? Not a one. That's just ridiculous. That's just taking away rights at that point, throwing the Constitution in the garbage. In fact, if you throw the Constitution in the garbage, a lot of people are going to die, in fact. If you stop doing the Bill of Rights, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to simply die because things will suddenly get so out of hand in this country that, I mean, the Bill of Rights is set up to protect us from tyranny, from the government becoming tyrannical. people in this country are trying to make our government more tyrannical all the time. And again, for whatever reason, they're being like sheep, and they're being led down the primrose path, being told, this will make you safer sheep if we take away all your rights. Guess what? Having your rights taken away, Americans, does not make you safer in any way. You should be insulted. You should stand up and tell the people who represent you, you need to protect my rights. If you want to go after criminals, do that. But do not take my rights away because a bad criminal did something that is criminal. You don't get to punish me for what criminals do because I am not a criminal. You know, one of the suggestions was that I go down, take my weapons down, get fingerprinted, get my picture taken, and asked if this weapon's okay for me to have. Okay, guess what? I'm not a sex offender, okay? I don't need to go down and have all that stuff done for me to own a weapon. Now, guess what? I'm a concealed carrier. I'm already fingerprinted. They already have my picture. I carry a license that shows that I'm a concealed carrier. So guess what? They already know all about me, but I did that so I could have the right and the privilege to defend myself and defend you and my fellow citizens. So I went through the background check. I went through the fingerprinting. I went through the picture so I would have the right to carry a gun. To make other people who've done nothing, who are not asking for any more rights than the ones given to them by God and the Constitution, why they should have to jump through a hoop that I had to jump through. I did it as a choice so that I could carry a gun and have greater freedom. They're just doing it to take their freedom away and make them feel like they are a criminal. You are not a criminal because you own a firearm. I have a penis. It doesn't make me a rapist, okay? Again, it's insulting. You should be insulted that they're even suggesting half of the things that they're putting out there. Again, and feel free to use that. I heard that the other day off someone else's YouTube channel. Because I have a penis doesn't make me a rapist, okay? Because I have a gun doesn't make me a criminal. Remember that. Next time somebody says, oh, you want a gun? That's bad, blah, 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 blah. Well, okay. That doesn't actually make me a criminal. That actually probably makes me a person who will help keep the criminals in check. Again, the wolves of our society are going to feast on us if these laws go into effect. The criminals are going to make it like Juarez, Mexico in the United States. We're going to have to stay home when nighttime falls for fear that we'll get shot or murdered when we go down to pick something up at the 7-Eleven in this country. We will become so scared to go out of our doors. And it will all because we were being kept safer by our politicians because we took away all of y'all's guns. No, we're not safer when they take away our guns. In fact, we're in danger from the criminals and in danger from our own government. So again, I apologize for ranting so much. I hope you enjoyed this video though, if you feel the way I feel. Feel free to go out there and look up statistics and look up this information. Go to PopVox if you want to voice your opinions for certain bills that are being suggested to let the politicians know what the American people really feel. And as always, God bless America. Long live the Republic.